Dr. Disrespect has now made his long-awaited return to YouTube. He posted a teaser trailer on September 5th on Twitter saying he would be coming back with a video where he seemingly travels on a boat to some remote island where his new arena is.
We're just getting started.
And as you can imagine, there were a lot of responses talking about what that island may have actually been, you know.
I'm cold. Oh, what's that boat? Oh no! He's back! Get away! Don't come on this island! He's gonna touch me! He's gonna feel me! He's gonna disrespect me! No!
And Doc on one hand can act like he doesn't really care about the mockery and people bullying him basically in his replies, but you can tell this stuff is getting to him quite a bit by the way he responds to it. If it was almost anyone else, I would probably feel bad for them because the roasts, like, they just keep coming. It's like brutal, torrential downpour of Europe file basically. But he wouldn't let these people keep him down because the next day he decided to fire up a live stream, the first one he's done since the allegations dropped, where he responded to the allegations directly, kind of.
People want to show the message, release the messages, show the messages. What are we in second grade?
What the f does that even mean?
She wasn't 15. She wasn't 14. She wasn't 13. She wasn't even 12.
I'm putting cases on all you.
Now, we are going to get into his response, but I think first it'd be good to just retread what happened with these allegations in the first place, so everyone watching here right now has full context for what happened before we get into his response.
Heard you've been gooning lately. Lost your edging streak? Looks like you need a little reminder, buddy. Stop gooning with my new merch. We've got premium materials,
high quality embroidery,
esoteric designs.
What more could you ask for?
What's that? You need a hat to keep your sensitive little eyes out of the sun? Good thing I thought of that. And if you ever forget how to put together a Nerf blaster, just read the instructions on your brimmy brim.
Please buy it! TurkeyTom.shop! Please! TurkeyTom.shop! Please! Stop gooning today at TurkeyTom.shop.
Stop gooning at TurkeyTom.shop. Edge forever. Limited quantities available. Get it now before it's gone forever.
If you don't buy it, I'm gonna commit a crime. I might commit a crime anyway. Please fund the crime I want to commit with my merch sales. I'm going to commit a crime because of the merch sales. If you buy this hat, if you buy this shirt, I will use the money that I get from it to commit a heinous crime. Is what I would say if I was going to do that, but I'm not.
Almost 4 years after Dr. Disrespect's ban, on the 21st of June 2024, former Twitch employee Cody Connors would allege the reasoning behind Doc's ban publicly, stating he got banned because he got caught sexting a minor in the then existing Twitch Whispers product. He was trying to meet up with her at TwitchCon. The powers that be could read it in plain text. Case closed, gang. No one made the wrong decision. Him and his boys. This tweet would be met with a lot of pushback initially, with a lot of people asking for proof of the claims because they didn't know how reliable this one random guy was as a source. And frankly, people were really justified in doubting the authenticity of this statement. I mean, this is one guy. We don't know if he has any real information here. And people even found out that he was previously teasing releasing this information on Doc multiple times under the condition that his band would sell enough concert tickets. And he may have been joking here, but obviously, if you're the leaker behind this kind of thing, you're going to be heavily scrutinized for that kind of thing going forward. Regardless, a man named Jake Lucky would signal boost these allegations. He's like a kind of esports Keemstar type guy. And when he boosted it and got a lot of attention, Doc felt like he had to respond. And he did, saying, "Jake, seriously, I get it, it's a hot topic, but this has been settled, no wrongdoing was acknowledged, and they paid out the whole contract." Now, a few notable points stick out in even this small of a statement. The most obvious being that rather than directly stating the claim was like false or he didn't do that, Doc instead chose to say no wrongdoing was acknowledged, seeming to be a way of of kind of telling the truth and acknowledging the allegations without directly denying the validity of the statement itself and not really getting into it, right? For some reason, the details were lost on Doc for the time being. Another interesting aspect of this is that Doc claims he was bought out of his contract, and that's information that up until that point was not public record. We didn't know what happened between him and Twitch. We knew he got banned, we knew there was some legal action, and ultimately it seems like they settled it, and that's really all we knew. This information didn't paint a very good picture. It was a little bit damning. A lot of people believed this was an indirect admission of guilt, only with the added context that Twitch decided to pay out his contract despite whatever he did, which got Twitch a lot of shit. So people were demanding a response from Doc because this was just not satisfactory, and he would decide to elaborate the next day, saying, "Listen, I'm obviously tied to legal obligations from the settlement with Twitch, but I just need to say what I can since this is the fucking internet. I didn't do anything wrong. All this has been probed and settled. Nothing illegal, no wrongdoing was found, and I was paid. Elden Ring Monday." This statement, much like the last statement, said more in subtle context than it did in actual substance. Because once again, Doc refused to say whether or not the allegations were true. He did say that nothing illegal happened, and, you know, that could entirely be the case, but this wouldn't dismiss the merit of the allegations. Technically, you can have inappropriate messages with a minor, out of context based. Take it out of context now. Technically, there are instances where people have messaged minors inappropriately and nothing illegal happened. That doesn't mean it's right. I mean, the age of consent in a lot of states is 16 years old. And while you may not receive any legal punishment for sleeping with a 16-year-old as like a 35-year-old man, let's say hypothetically, not that that's what he did, but hypothetical world, while legally you may not be punished, it's still the overwhelming societal standard that doing so is gross. And people also focused a lot on this statement that he didn't do anything wrong. Because if he's using the standard of legality to support this, then he may actually have a case. But if there was any truth to the allegations and he just didn't do anything legally wrong, then obviously people would still find what he did to be a lapse in judgment, a severe and continuous one even. But the situation was far from over. Many of Doc's partnerships began to fall through. Turtle Beach, who you guys probably remember from like 2014, from being like the goats of gaming headsets, okay?
Bro, my dad loves me because he got me a Turtle Beach.
They pretty quickly severed their entire partnership with him. They removed all of the merchandise related to Doc from their website. This was also followed by NBA 2K's publisher, 2K Games, and they gave their full public intentions to remove any association they had with him from their games. The San Francisco 49ers did the same exact thing, announcing they'd no longer be working with Doc going forward. Game Fuel, who had previously cut ties with Dr. Disrespect, would once again separate from him. First Watch, the developer of the third-person shooter Rogue Company, would also remove their $20 skin of Doc from the game and offer full refunds for anyone who purchased it. This was really a PR nightmare for Doc in terms of all of his business relationships. But Doc wasn't about to take this all lying down. Around 10:30 a.m., he would go live on his YouTube. Now, it was mostly an okay stream. He didn't seem too worried, but around the 3-hour and 11-minute mark, he would look down at his phone and his demeanor would suddenly change a lot. He seemed to get really nervous.
You know how we run things here.
And if you watch this video, Doc actually stayed silent for the next full minute before he just kind of expressed his fatigue and frustration over the events of the last few days and all the allegations coming out.
I'll be honest, I'm feeling a little fatigued. Feeling a little fatigued. We came in here, champs. We came in here. High energy. High energy. But I'm telling you, man, I'm just feeling fatigued. Right? Feeling a little burnt out.
He went on to vent about the draining nature of social media and existing as like a big public figure.
Like I'm actually tired of being on social media, and I've expressed that over the years, champs. I just, you know, I've always kind of hinted like it'd be nice to get off and just completely separate, right? Go live in Costa Rica or something.
And then he would suddenly announce a new vacation to go away from all of his social media and basically run away from whatever was going on.
But I think the first and foremost, though, is, you know, I did have a sort of a planned vacation coming up. And I think I might just extend that starting now. You know, one of these, let's take a step back. I mean, it is what it is. People get fatigued, right, champs? And to be honest, I don't know how long, you know, I know where my vacacion, how long my vacation is, but, you know, maybe I extend that. We'll see. We'll see. But I do appreciate you guys, champs. Right? And look out for the socials. I'll keep you updated when we'll be back. But I definitely need to take a break from everything, you know? Start a podcast? I think what I'm most interested in, and believe it or not, champs, because obviously when you're top tier gamer like me, when your gaming skill set is just incredible, and you know you look like this, you know, why wouldn't you want to be in front of the camera all the time? But I'm kind of I'm exhausted of being in front of the camera. I'm exhausted being on socials. The industry's changed so much. Just so much different energy out there, negative energy and clashing, and from everything that we've experienced since we started this whole journey together, you know what I mean, champs? And I'm just like, when I go outside, I just feel so much better. When I remove myself, I just feel, what the hell is this, you know? So that's all I'm gonna say. Keep playing, Doc. We don't care. The fuck? Okay. Champs, I'm gonna call it right there. A little short one. We've accomplished some things, but I think more importantly, we need to step away. I think when I say step away, I'm gonna have to.
But one really notable moment that we did get here, apart from him being really nervous, was that he expressed his intention to move away from Midnight Society, which is a gaming studio that he founded in 2021.
Either have to relay this to the Midnight Society, but maybe I step away from there too. Just completely remove myself from the scene. It's what I need to do. I mean, right?
He was basically saying this was like an amicable split given the controversy. He didn't want it to affect them. But weirdly enough, shortly after Doc's live stream would go dark, the real Midnight Society Twitter account will post this message saying, "On Friday evening, we became aware of an allegation against one of our co-founders, Guy Beam, also known as Dr. Disrespect. We assumed his innocence and began speaking with parties involved. And in order to maintain our principles and standards as a studio and individuals, we needed to act. For this reason, we are terminating our relationship with Guy Beam immediately. While these facts are difficult to hear and even more difficult to accept, it is our duty to act with dignity on behalf of all individuals involved, especially the 55 developers and families we've employed, along with our whole community of players." The magnitude of how big of a drop this was can't be overstated. It's like the same thing that happened where, like, Chris Tyson said that Chris was stepping away from Mr. Beast, and then Mr. Beast was like, "I kicked that bitch out," right? It's like Doc says he's, you know, having an amicable split, and then the actual company is like, "We kicked him out." So seemingly someone is lying, or they've both agreed to lie to benefit their reputations the most. For whatever reason, the people at Midnight Society believed that what he did was horrible, or at least it looked bad enough that they didn't want to be publicly tied to him anymore. Well, with his hands kind of tied and, you know, him realizing he was pushed against a wall, he ended up releasing a statement. On June 25th of 2024, he wrote, "Hello, I'd like to make a quick statement. Let's cut the fucking bullshit. As you know, there's no filter with me. There's no filter with me. I'm based. I've always been upfront and real with you guys on anything that I can be upfront about, and I'm always willing to accept responsibility, which is why I'm here now. First and foremost, I do want to apologize to everyone in my community, as well as those close to me, my team, and everyone at Midnight Society Game Studio. A lot of people have been left in the dark about what happened yesterday with Midnight Society and we made the painful decision collectively to have me step down. Our team is full of incredibly talented and good people that have high career ambitions and families, and I never want to jeopardize the culture we've carefully crafted." Now, this clearly, as I said before, contradicts a statement posted by Midnight Society where they said they investigated him personally and they decided to terminate the relationship, but he's claiming it was like a super mutual thing. So either Doc is lying or Midnight Society is lying, or they're both lying in tandem and they like agreed to lie behind the scenes to protect both of their reputations or something. Now, he goes on with this statement saying, "Everyone has been wanting to know why I was banned from Twitch, but for reasons outside of my control, I was not allowed to say anything for the last several years. Now that 2 former Twitch employees have publicly disclosed the accusations, I can tell you my side of the story regarding the ban. Were there Twitch whisper messages with an individual minor back in 2017? The answer is yes. Were there real intentions behind these messages? The answer is absolutely not. These were casual, mutual conversations that sometimes lean too much in the direction of being inappropriate, but nothing more." So most people took this as an admission of guilt that he had done, at the very least, something wrong. Even if he didn't sex this kid or try to meet up with them, he did, you know, have some kind of inappropriate interaction with someone, and he admitted that here. But for some reason, the doc didn't want to give any finer details. In fact, it was quite the opposite. As a result, speculation ran rampant as people tried to guess what these inappropriate conversations were. Some people assumed they sexted, others said he was simply discussing topics that are inappropriate to discuss with someone under the age of consent. They were trying to figure out how bad Doc was really, in the midst of a bunch of people posting memes calling him a file. But he would continue in his response saying, "Nothing illegal happened. No pictures were shared. No crimes were committed. I never even met the individual. I went through a lengthy arbitration regarding a civil dispute with Twitch, and that case was resolved by a settlement. Let me be clear, it was not a criminal case against me, and no criminal charges have ever been brought against me." A lot of people who read this statement found his wording to be very odd. Cody Connors had claimed that Doc was trying to meet up with this anonymous minor, a claim that Doc doesn't inherently refute. He does say that he didn't meet them in person, but he doesn't dispel the idea that he discussed meeting them IRL. Doc also again emphasizes like 20 times that what he did was not illegal and there were no criminal charges against him, but once again that doesn't dismiss the possibility of these conversations being sexually graphic or wholly inappropriate. And seemingly this idea is something that Doc owned up to a little bit in his statement, saying, "Now from a moral standpoint, I'll absolutely take responsibility. I never should have entertained these conversations to begin with. That's on me. That's on me as an adult, a husband, and a father. It never should have happened. I get it. I'm not perfect and I'll own my shit. This was stupid." And Doc would go on to once again apologize to his peers and his community before asserting his intentions of pushing through the controversy and continuing to stream despite what was going on. And once again, this statement, despite him clarifying some things, still left a lot of questions. I mean, at this point, we knew Doc had some kind of inappropriate discussions with a minor. Both sides said that, but we haven't seen the DMs, so to what extent it really happened is technically currently unknown. What we do know is that whatever happened in these DMs was enough for Twitch, Discord, and even Doc's own gaming studio to decide it was worthy of, cutting ties with him and just getting rid of him altogether. They were like, "Fuck this guy." And what's even weirder is that Doc didn't really explain his intentions. Instead, he just said there were no real intentions, which is an excuse we've heard from a lot of really gross, weird people before when they, go to a certain house and have a seat.
Hello, Doc. Chris Hansen here of Hansen versus Predators. To catch a predator, have a seat with Chris Hansen. Now, Doc, I'm gonna need you to have a seat right over there.
And the wording of it leaning in the direction of being inappropriate was also really weird. Like, why would Doc choose to say so little about this when his career and reputation is on the line? I mean, prior to this, sure, maybe he didn't want to talk about it because there was some settlement with Twitch that he didn't want to, really get into, because if he did, they could potentially sue him. But someone from the Twitch side had already broken that NDA, so why not just get into it now, right? Doc would even go as far as to remove the phrase minor from the tweet and replace it with just the word individual, but then he got backlash and then he decided to put it back in. I didn't really know why he did that, seemingly because he realized that minor being in there was not good. But then the Dr. Disrespect defense squad came on the scene, starting with Sneeko.
Ding, ding. Most of them are teenagers. Most of them are underage. It doesn't even matter to them because Twitch is 13 plus. So they're okay if you're 13 years old edging to Pokemon all day. But if Dr. Disrespect texts a girl who's 17 years old, 11 months, 364 days, 59 minutes and 59 seconds, he's the worst person ever. Why?
Are you really retarded?
Now, a lot of people found this comparison pretty unconvincing, but there were still a lot of people who echoed this similar sentiment, saying that Doc had messaged a 17-year-old definitively. That being said, there's literally no evidence to support the idea that Doc messaged a 17-year-old, as Sneeko claims. I know where this comes from. It comes from this leaked email from a former Twitch employee that is frankly fake. You can tell it's fake because this email claims that the Twitch whispers were from weeks prior to his last stream in 2020, but this contradicts what Doc said and what Cody Connors said and what every other source has said about this, which is that these messages happened in 2017, not in 2020. This email also claims that no sexting took place. They also claim that Twitch was monitoring his private messages and that Twitch had an agenda to force him out after his bathroom scandal. And none of these claims have really been verified by any reputable source. Every established publication like Rolling Stone has said that upon speaking to Twitch employees, the email is fake. So I'm gonna, just assume that this email is fake. It doesn't seem real. Despite that, a lot of people ran with the narrative that the minor was 17, despite there being no confirmation of the minor's actual age. For all we knew, they could have been fucking 12. And this is where the trail really went cold for a while. Obviously, commentary channels discussed it. Doc had his various little Twitter meltdowns. He had the whole "I'm playing chess and you're playing checkers" thing, where he was like spurring out at people in the replies, being like, "You have pronouns," which is like true, cringe, but also you messaged a child, so that's bad. Worse, probably, I think. Yeah, I don't think that's that controversial. But then Doc started teasing his return, saying he'd be making a return to streaming. People made more videos about that, including me. And now, finally, we have gotten an actual response from Doc on these allegations. And I think it would be good to get into it.
You see, there was a lawsuit pending. And as part of that arbitration, all parties were not allowed to speak publicly about the case. I respected those rules. My lawsuit against Twitch was eventually resolved, as you all know. But even then, as part of the settlement, all parties were still prohibited from speaking publicly about the case or the settlement. However, if one side violated that confidentiality, then the other side could respond. And again, champs, again, I respected all the confidential obligations. But apparently Twitch's own disgruntled employees didn't feel the need to abide by those same obligations. Cody Connors, ex-Twitch employee, wasn't even involved, leaks Twitch's reported reason. Years later, Cody, why do this? What was the point? This was settled professionally. And you, knowing how black and white the internet is, you decided, you fucking rat, to leak the reported reason Twitch banned me.
So I don't think that defending Cody Connors is a game I really want to play, especially considering how, like I said, he was also promoting his own concert tickets by saying that he would reveal the reason Doc was banned if people went to his stupid show. It was probably a joke if I had to guess, but the idea of profiting off of revealing allegations about someone and paywalling information that the public should know anyway is pretty dumb, and I think that it, called into question Cody Connors' reasoning for leaking this. So you can criticize Cody all you want, but the allegations I care about are the ones against Doc, not Cody Connors. Cody is some nobody loser who worked at Twitch, and while he is worth criticizing, Doc is the one being accused here, so I don't want Doc to be able to distract from that too much.
Well, I mean, for what? Cody? Why? Did you not know the repercussions from spewing lies about the two-time? Did you not know the repercussions of accusing me?
So here he says lies are being directly spread about him, and I'm super curious to see what those lies are. I'm sure he'll provide a lot of evidence and screenshots.
You said that I got banned from Twitch because I was sexting a minor through Whisper's messages? Do you even know what the legal definition of sexting is? I do. And yeah, I used Twitch's Whispers, but trust me, I wasn't sexting anyone. You also said the word minor, Cody. I even made sure that word was emphasized in my statement, edited, etc., just to make sure these so-called journalists would pick up on it. And boy, oh boy, did they ever, champs.
You see, you guys just have to understand, okay? Putting the word minor in the statement was all part of my 4D chess plan, okay? I'm the master of puppets. I tricked all of you. You see, when I admitted to inappropriately talking with the child, it was all a ruse so that you would then accuse me of talking to a child, and I could then say, I'm not a pedophile at all. I just said I was, so you would think that I am. See, this is genius, okay? This guy, big brain. I apologize. I will give him some credit here. We haven't definitively seen proof that he sexted a minor, as in like sending pictures to them or anything like that, and that allegation also is not something that even anybody at Twitch or Cody Connors said. So, from that perspective, I guess he is technically right. Here's what we do have, though. Rolling Stone did this article where they talked to some Twitch employees about the allegations. They were anonymous employees, so we don't know who they are, but I'm assuming they're not Cody Connors because Cody previously went on the record with his real name. A former Twitch trust and safety employee who worked for the platform at the time Beam was banned and has direct knowledge of the matter confirmed to Rolling Stone that Beam continued to send sexually graphic messages to a minor he knew to be underage. This former employee, who requested anonymity to avoid jeopardizing their career, also said that crucial elements of Beam's latest offensive tweet are inaccurate. I recall that Dr. Disrespect was made aware by the individual that they were underage during the conversation, after which he indicated that this was no problem and continued on. There was no confusion. Messages sent after this was acknowledged were no less graphic and in sexually explicit nature than before, and I think more than the categorization of leaning too much in the direction of being inappropriate might indicate. The ex-Twitch employee has also provided Rolling Stone a more detailed account of internal conversations at Twitch following the report of Beam's messages and his subsequent ban. They say the details of Beam's case are coming out because of Connor's explosive tweet last week. Cody definitely got the ball rolling. Me and many former colleagues are only comfortable speaking up now because of it. Our priority is always to the safety of the alleged victim and to keep their identity a secret, they said.
When you and all these so-called journalists, Cody, fired off your tweets, did any of you consider that the Twitch user may have been over the legal age of consent at the time of the messages? You didn't. Neither did any of these journalists, and neither did Twitch at the time of the ban.
So I guess now the explanation here is that the person was over the legal age of consent, which depending on the state could mean that they were 16 or 17 depending on where it is. But I don't feel like this is a very good defense once again because Doc is not like a 19-year-old talking to whoever this victim is. He was in his mid-30s already when all this happened. I think any reasonable person would agree that a 35-year-old man engaging sexually with someone who is, in the best case scenario from Doc's explanation, 16 or 17, I think most people would agree that's still a bad thing thing to do. Doc has insisted time and time again that nothing illegal happened, and maybe that is the case, but legality is not the perfect argument for morality, right? Not every law is just, not every conviction is based, and just because someone hasn't been charged with a crime doesn't mean they didn't do anything wrong.
You also tried to tell the world that I was trying to meet up with this user at TwitchCon, but you're wrong. Let's set the record straight. I never intended to meet this user ever. We never made plans to meet at TwitchCon or anywhere else, and in fact, we never met in person ever. Your bullshit accusations gave false courage to other former Twitch employees to make shit up as well. I suspect all of you sort of planned and coordinated this attack. These big-time publications, these journalists, these various outlets are sort of just gossip channels now, don't you think, champs? They act like they're just gossip channels now, without any real journalism and real research happening.
Obviously, I can't deny that, mainstream media outlets are often gossipy and cringe and spread misinformation. I mean, you can't deny that, I have no real love of the mainstream media. But when Rolling Stone, who's a pretty big publication, no matter what you think about them, talked to Twitch employees, and every employee gave the same story about what happened at Twitch, it's kind of hard to write this off as just like the rumor mill, Especially when Doc himself at least partially confirmed these allegations to be true in his original response, when he said that not only had he talked to a minor, but he also acknowledged the messages were inappropriate and what he did was wrong. Were there Twitch whisper messages with an individual minor in 2017? The answer is yes. I don't see a lot of defense here from Doc. I don't see a good point of defense, a good plan of attack against all these people talking about this. I don't see how his response exonerates him in any way. Ultimately, I think if Doc wants to be taken seriously here, he needs to provide some receipts. He needs to provide some documentation to prove that what he did was not that bad. If it wasn't that bad, then why not just release the messages in theory, right? I mean, out of context, sure, maybe it looks bad, but in context, if he can explain it all away, why not just release that? But it seems like he doesn't want to do that. And, a lot of people are going to speculate, as to why.
He's gonna feel me. He's gonna disrespect me. No.
They reported on all this based on leaks from 2 former Twitch employees, one of whom was supposedly on the trust and safety team. If these anonymous sources worked on the trust and safety team at the time of my Twitch suspension in 2020, then you would hope they would tell the truth. But apparently that's just too much to ask. If these former trust and safety team members, and by the way, I know exactly who they are, actually had firsthand knowledge, then what they conveniently left out is, 1, Twitch's trust and safety team, the same employees that decided to ban me, internally admitted that the whisper messages were not sexting. And 2, Twitch's trust and safety team, the same employees that decided to ban me, internally acknowledged that the whispers did not constitute child sexual abuse material CSAM.
Now, I'm not going to defend the way Twitch handled this whole thing, even from what I know definitively about how they handled it, based on the public stuff. I don't think they handled it well. But in theory, if what Doc is saying is true, he should have some proof of this story. He should have screenshots. He should have some kind of documentation. I mean, he had a whole court case regarding this stuff, and he openly has said that Twitch employees broke their obligation to not talk about it. Therefore, now he has full rights to talk about the case and the arbitration, anything that happened, without risk of legal action. So where is his proof for this claim? Why not just bring up shit from the lawsuit? Shit that probably came out in discovery. For some reason, Doc decided to not provide a single screenshot or receipt for a single claim he made.
Cody Connors and these other anonymous sources are trying to paint a picture that I was exchanging sexually explicit messages and photos with this Twitch user. That never happened. I even used the word inappropriate, purposely. And look at how it's defined by everyone, champs. Huh? Including these defaming articles. I'm sorry, but mutual bantering with inappropriate jokes taken out of context should have never led to me getting banned from Twitch in the first place.
Oh, well, if they slandered you, you should sue them. You should take them to court. You have tons of money. You're Dr. Disrespect. You're a multi-millionaire, right? The 2-time champion. Just fucking sue them. Counter their specific claims about you. I would love to see some shitty publication get sued into the dirt for slandering someone. I mean, they frankly have probably lied about others and done some shitty journalism. So let's get it. Let's get it done. Is that going to happen? I don't think so. What is worth noting here is that Doc says he just made some jokes with this person, which is a big departure from what every source who saw these messages claims about it. So one of them has to be lying. And what Doc Doc is saying here even contradicts his prior statement where he admits, that he had some very bad inappropriate messages with a minor. So it just doesn't really, make sense. He's kind of downplaying it. It makes you wonder why he deleted that original tweet where he said he had messages with an individual minor. And it also makes you wonder why he didn't acknowledge a single source for any of his claims or go into even his own posts, right? He refused to pull up a single link to fucking anything. It really makes you think.
I mean, how would each of you look if all of your private DMs, your text messages, your chats were looked at, dissected, and taken out of context by someone who's deliberately trying to find something inappropriate in those words? And this is not a situation where a victim publicly accuses someone of wrongdoing. That never happened here. We're talking about allegations that Twitch made against me as a half-baked reason for justifying their actions of suspending and shutting down my channel. Allegations that Twitch made without even a legal analysis of whether the whisper messages were legal! You see, I engage with my community. I engage with other streamers. And through Twitch Whispers, I communicate with Twitch users. Conversations that consisted of a variety of playing games and gaming politics, content creation, random stuff. This was the extent of my whispers with this Twitch user.
I mean, once again, I think this is a big departure from even what Doc said in his response. I mean, he's really angry. He's upset at the implications being made. And hey, maybe he didn't directly sext this person. Maybe he didn't directly say, let's meet up at this time, on this date. But I still think that even with what he is admitting to, making sexual jokes, quote unquote, as a man in your 30s with someone who is, at the best case scenario here, like 17 years old. Keep in mind, we don't even know her age. I think that's bad. And Doc is absolutely livid here on the fact that people call him out for it, despite previously admitting to being a shithead and doing something wrong and being a bad person.
On June 21st, 2020, my ex-Twitch partner manager learns that I exchanged whispers with a Twitch user. And I say ex-partner manager because for years, this guy didn't do anything for me, my community, or my channel. For years. I'm talking no front page love. You're talking about the face of the platform, right? Literally, the face of the platform. And I know Champions Club remembers this. We got zero front page love on the website. He was never on my channel. He didn't follow me on Twitter. He wouldn't even inform us about Twitch rival tournaments. We're talking about the two-time Twitch rival tournament. Oh, I'm sorry. Would you want to play in it? We got zero support from this guy. And it was just so obvious that he carried a grudge against the two-time. So after we signed with Twitch in 2019, we asked for a new partner manager. And just a few months later, that ex-Twitch partner manager is directly involved with getting me banned. Coincidence?
It is very possible that whoever this partner manager is was involved in this case. It's possible that that partner manager acted inappropriately and was bad at his job and maybe even had it out for Doc at some point in time. I mean, this is all possible, but this is all unproven by Doc. This is just what he's claiming. And this is also all obfuscation from the main point, which is that Doc did something wrong. All of this shit is relevant to the story, and I would like to know what happened behind the scenes. I mean, I can't take Doc's word for it because he provides literally no proof for any of his claims here, but I personally would love to know the behind-the-scenes autistic TV show that played out at Twitch regarding all of this. I'm sure it was entertaining and very incompetent. But once again, Doc, while simultaneously complaining that the people that are criticizing him have no proof for their allegations, which isn't really even true, he's also willing to provide exactly zero receipts for this entire diatribe story about the conspiracy to get rid of the two-time, right? Like, he just goes on this victimhood diatribe about how some loser at Twitch screwed him over because he was jealous or something.
The Twitch user tells this ex-Twitch partner manager that they do not want to report anything to Twitch. But this ex-Twitch partner manager encourages the user and even directs them to file a report directly with Twitch, even though the user told him clearly that we never physically met anywhere and that no photographs were exchanged.
This is almost like telling on himself right here. Self-report moment. Because even if a kid says nothing bad happened, sometimes kids are unable to realize that something bad happened. They're a minor, and a minor who's a fan of you, so they may not even be aware that anything bad went on. And you know what? To defend his partner manager here, I think if this partner manager did hear that something bad happened, some allegation was made, I think if he saw those messages and he got a weird vibe from them, he was well within his right to tell Twitch to look into it and further take action. In the worst case scenario of that outcome, if nothing bad actually happened to her, then theoretically Twitch would have no reason to act, right? But apparently what happened in those messages was enough for them to think he was a brand risk and ban him from the site. It doesn't really look good. Well, the minor said nothing bad happened. Yeah, sometimes they don't. They're a kid.
On June 24th, 2020, Twitch's special operations team receives and reviews the user's report. They find no issues and determine that it did not warrant any further escalation to Twitch's law enforcement response team. That would have been the end. That should have been the end. But that partner manager, oh boy, did he had it out. He had it out for the two time. He finds out that no further action will be taken, so what does he do? He personally escalates the report to a friend on the Twitch's LER team. The LER team, remember, that's the Twitch's law enforcement response team. He escalates the report to a friend on Twitch's LER team. So a day later, on June 25th, the LER analyst pulls the entirety of the Whisper messages and begins discussing them with his director of the LER team. Mind you, this director is on vacation at that time and does not have access to their computer or work files. Let me just remind you, I went through a big time arbitration, okay? And, you discover a lot of stuff. Mind you, this director is on vacation at that time. The LER analyst cherry picks and sends a few targeted excerpts out of context from the Whisper messages to this director. Now, if you do this, you can make anyone's messages look inappropriate.
Yeah, of course, this is true. You can make anyone's messages look bad out of context. But the real thing here is that the interaction was with someone who was underage. And the fact that Doc insists these messages are not inappropriate now, after previously acknowledging that they were bad, and now he still refuses to post them or explain, like, even one line of what he said. He won't even give us one unproven, like, oh, I joked about her. He won't even reveal that, right? That's kind of weird. It doesn't look good. Why even respond at this point if you're not going to provide anything with any real substance apart from some unproven story that, who fucking knows if it happened? Frankly, Doc is digging himself a deeper and deeper hole here in terms of how the public is going to look at this.
Within less than 1 hour, this LER analyst and his director have made the decision to suspend me from Twitch.
Once again, I don't know if Doc's story about the behind-the-scenes actions at Twitch here is accurate. I really have no idea. But if it is true, it would explain why the lawsuit went the way it did with Twitch settling. They would have probably broken their contract with him on one hand by, reviewing these messages in one department and thinking there was nothing wrong, and then deciding to go back on that decision once their partner manager sent these messages to some other Twitch guy and got him banned. That was probably a breach of their contract with Doc. He probably had a right to some kind of fair trial, so to speak, within the organization if they ever wanted to ban him. And it's also possible that what he did wasn't technically a violation of his contract with Twitch because he didn't do anything illegal. But once again, this doesn't mean that Doc did nothing wrong. It just means that Twitch also did something wrong and handled it poorly. With how specific he is about this story, I'm inclined to, at the very least, believe that he believes this to be the case, but I can't prove any of it, so it's all just his word against anyone else's for now, and I assume Twitch is not going to come out and publicly talk about how badly they f***ed this up.
Twitch submits a report to NCMEC. You guys all read those little articles, huh? The NCMEC. Twitch submits that report. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Guess what? As far as I know, and over 4 years have passed, they didn't do anything with the report.
But once again, just because it wasn't illegal or, he wasn't charged doesn't mean he didn't do anything wrong. Chris Tyson, for example, who the internet has been calling a fucking creep for who knows how long now. It's been weeks, months, years, decades at this point. I don't know how the time passes. Chris Tyson is yet to be charged and probably will never be charged if they haven't at this point. And I don't think anybody here wants to defend Chris Tyson, including Doc, given what we already know about him. The absence of legal action on any charges being pressed does not define if somebody is innocent or not. It may define if they're innocent legally, because Doc hasn't been convicted of a crime, but morally, ethically, I think he probably still fucked up really bad here.
As far as I know, they didn't escalate Twitch's report to law enforcement. Mind you, the same people that made this decision admit internally that the messages did not constitute sexting. The same people that made this decision at Twitch admit internally that the messages did not warrant any child sexual abuse material charge. Twitch makes this decision to terminate my contract and ban me while admitted they did not perform any legal analysis of whether the messages exchanged were illegal in any way. Twitch makes this decision to terminate my contract and ban me while admitting that they never investigated the age of consent in the jurisdiction where the user's messages were sent and received.
Wait. Okay, what? They didn't investigate the age of consent? How old was this person? Why even bring up the age of consent here if there was no sexting or meetup planned? Why even bring this up? Like, what was going on in those messages? I need to know now, for sure. This makes it even worse. It's yeah, I just told a few jokes to them, but they're over the age of consent. In Alabama, the age of consent is 16. They were 16. It's fine. What? Why even bring that up if you didn't have any weird intentions or real intentions? Twitch probably did screw this all up. I'm not going to argue with that, but I want to know what the doc did. And on one hand, he's saying there was no sexting, there was no talk of meeting up. And then he's like, well, she's over the age of consent. Where is she even from? We don't even know. She could be from France where the age of consent is 13 or something. Who knows?
Twitch makes this decision to terminate my contract and ban me without ever interviewing me, the user, or any other third party, including the partner manager. It's unbelievable! I'm not going to get into every detail regarding my legal case, but these former Twitch employees that claim to have firsthand knowledge, they just don't have a clue. They didn't report any facts. The judge in the case determined that the whispers were not illegal. So then why did Twitch use these messages against me? Why did Twitch treat the doc so differently from their other streamers?
And it's at this point that Doc is going to go on to make the case that Twitch was looking for some reason to get rid of him and screw him over, and that there's some big conspiracy at Twitch to destroy the Doc, the two-time, as he says. And according to him, these messages were the perfect reason for them to do so, even though he didn't do anything illegal.
I mean, outside of the obvious. I mean, just take a look at me. Unfiltered. The realest motherfucker in this industry.
Absolute, based, Sigma, Chad, Patriot, badass status has been reached, guys, okay? You will respect the Doc. He tells it how it is. He even tells minors how it is. You gotta love him. Love him or hate him, he's the two-time. He, three-year vertical leap. He's gay. A very talented angel came to me in my dream last night and told me that Doc is gay. The angel said that he had spoken to Doc in his mind, and Doc said, I'm the two-time gay guy. And that's what the angel said. I don't know if that's true, but that's what the angel said to me. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Just weird stuff going on, guys. Allegation. Hashtag allegation.
6'8". Gorgeous, athletic, successful, college degree, college athlete, bourbon business, gaming studio, beautiful family. And trust me, we've worked hard for over a decade to improve as a person, a husband, and father, and to get where we're at today. I mean, I'm in such a good place.
And after all his accomplishments, things were going so well. And yet, you are too retarded to stop yourself from messaging a minor inappropriately. They really pulled the rug out from under you. I feel bad for you, man. I mean, you changed as a person from who you were when you were, 35 years old. You were just a shy, innocent, dumb teenager at 35 years old. Now you're 42, you've grown a lot, you're an old wise man, you're like Master Wu. It's frankly a beautiful character arc, and, I can't express enough how I support Dr. Disrespect and his journey.
The reality is, they wanted to cut down the Doc. Plain and simple. Take a look at some of these horrendous acts of Twitch streamers that were never banned. I've got some examples right here. Example number 1. A streamer that frequently used the N-word while publicly streaming, which constitutes a violation of Twitch's policies if accompanied by hateful intent. Twitch scheduled a meeting with the streamer to ascertain his intent to determine whether his conduct was a violation of Twitch's policies, ultimately determining it was not a breach of Twitch's policies.
Wow. Well, damn, I actually like Twitch a lot more now. I feel like I should start streaming there. I might be their favorite golden boy even.
Why wasn't I called into a meeting? Why wasn't my intent taken into consideration, champs? Example number 2. Streamer was reported for discussing doing things with deceased animals and discussing philia, all while live streaming. Never suspended, but instead given a multi-million-dollar contract.
I'm actually not even sure who he's talking about at this part. I don't know what the context of whatever this streamer said is. I would love to know, but I've never heard of who this person is. So I'm curious to see if whoever he's talking about will respond and defend themselves. But I assume that whoever they are, if they even do exist, he didn't want to give them attention and get, him and them into drama, which is why he failed to mention their name. But I am very curious who that person is.
Example number 3. Streamer was reported for a sexually explicit stream involving children and telling children to send Snapchats of them playing with themselves. Never suspended, but instead, given a multi-million-dollar contract.
Whoa. Who is this? Who is he talking about? Is he just lying? Is this even a real person? The thing is, he could be totally telling the truth about Twitch's inconsistent moderation. I don't even really doubt it. Frankly, I think Twitch is one of the worst content moderation teams across the entire internet and the worst track record in terms of consistency with bans and, banning people for one thing and then promoting another person for the same thing. And, on one hand, a girl can have sex on stream and then come back a couple of days later and her channel blows up. But then, you say the F slur and you get banned permanently. Twitch is a very shitty website. I can't deny that. I don't doubt that they acted super dumb, and that's probably why they managed to fuck this up to the point that Doc ended up getting a huge payout even after they banned him from their platform for being a weirdo. But this really is like a side point to the allegations made about Doc, which he once again refuses to get into a lot of specifics about at all, and it really just makes me wonder what's going on.
Go back and look at the timing of all this too. Huh. The Doc's termination lines up with two preferable, profitable, and expensive streamers leaving Mixer as soon as Twitch knew that Mixer had failed. And go look at the timing. These other expensive streamers needed a new streaming platform. So Twitch rushed through its decision to terminate the tube time. You see, I shouldn't even be banned from Twitch.
Now, what he's talking about here is during a time period when a lot of streamers were being fielded by other companies to do contracts over there. YouTube was doing it for a while. They signed people like Ludwig and Valkyrie. And for example, back in 2019, even before that, Ninja had left Twitch for a competitor named Mixer, which is a site created by Microsoft, and he was given a lot of money to go there exclusively. And he did go there, and he streamed for a little bit, but in the end, he returned to Twitch because Mixer was a big failure for Microsoft. And so Twitch kind of won in the long game there, but in the short term, they were worried about a lot of streamers going over there and, you know, going to this other website because the contracts were bigger. And there was even a lot of speculation when Doc got banned about if it had something to do with Mixer negotiating some kind of contract with him, and then maybe they found out and Twitch didn't like that, so they got rid of him ahead of time because maybe that was a violation of his contract with Twitch. But all of this is like retarded because it doesn't even pertain to what happened here. Doc has no proof for any of his claims. He has no proof for the claim that Twitch banned him because they were worried he might go to Mixer or something, which doesn't even really make sense. But on top of that, he has no proof. He has literally no proof for any of this story. And Doc pretty much uses the rest of his response to hint at conspiracies about who got him banned and how the deep state's coming to get him, basically. And then he starts playing video games again. Now, Doc's stream peaked at 180,000 viewers when he was responding live to these allegations, and it dipped after that, but he was still maintaining like 50 to 100,000 live viewers for quite a while. So it's clear to me that this response was enough for his core audience to stay around. A lot of them seemingly believe what he had to say, or it could also be the fact that a lot of his viewers just don't care and they just want to see him crack jokes and play games. And hey, if that's, you know, your position as an audience member, you just watch him because you think he's a funny guy and you don't really care about his personal life, I can't necessarily blame you. I mean, there are a bunch of music artists that I listen to who are bad people, and I don't really think twice about it most of the time. I mean, you know, separation of art and artist. If you just want to enjoy their art, I mean, that's, you know, that's up to you. It's probably especially easy for a Doc fan to kind of ignore the allegations because Doc kind of plays a character on stream. It's not really him. But that won't stop me from coming to the conclusion that Doc's response was not very good. And, you know, at the very least, if you're going to watch him, you should at least, you know, acknowledge the fact this guy's being very, very weird and dishonest about all of this. But if you acknowledge that and you want to watch him anyway, what am I supposed to say? Frankly, his refusal to acknowledge what went on in those messages specifically is proof to me that he has something to hide. Anyway, if you like this video, leave a like, subscribe to the Tom Dark channel, subscribe to the live channel for streams, clips, and all that stuff. Well, I stream here on this channel, Tom Dark, but I put the clips on the Tom Dark live channel, so subscribe to Tom Dark Live and check out the video on the Turkey Tom channel about the entire Doc saga prior to his new response if you want to see more about that. Bye.